Hello, this is Lord Triax. Welcome to Let's Play Quandam. Now, just to give you a bit of background, Quandam is a text-based adventure game, and I never did own the instruction manual to this game, so I don't know what the aim of the game is. And even having completed this game, I'm still none the wiser. But being a text-based adventure game, we can fairly safely assume that the objectives of the game are to collect treasure and avoid death. So let's get started. Like other games of its ilk, there are a number of verbs you can key in to make your character do things like get, or drop, or throw. And there are two verbs in particular that you need to know in order to complete the game. And these are deposit and withdraw, and are used for storing and retrieving items from various banks which are scattered throughout the game. Right, so here we are. We're given the option of starting from scratch or loading a previously saved game. So let's start from the beginning now. Oh, and there's one interesting feature which I should point out, which is that you can indeed save it, but if you do so too early on, then Nice Man appears telling you that you can't. And if you try saving again, then Nice Man comes back with some not so nice men who beat you up. And taking any other action now results in death because you're on the verge of death. So we could try saving again. Yes, so don't save too early on. Okay, let's start for real now. Okay, here we go. So we begin at the end of a forest road leading north, and behind us is a rock. There's a cave leading into the ground, and it's not clear from this description, but you can actually go west as well. There's an area west, and you can go in any other direction too, but doing so leaves you in a trackless forest. So let's go down first. Okay, the tunnel caves in, and there are a number of items here. There's a glowing rock, a flask, a sapling, a key, and a rucksack. So let's get those items. You can get items just by typing the word get, and it just picks up whatever's on the floor. But just to make things clearer, I'll type in whatever it is I'm getting or dropping. So get rock, get flask, get sapling, get key, and get rucksack. Let's just get sack. Okay, typing in shows you your inventory. Typing score gives you your score. Yes, so we've already got 7.2% of the mark, so we're not doing too badly. And typing look reminds you of your surroundings. Okay, so we're in a small plain junk room, but the exit north is barred by a sealed lock. Now, because the lock is sealed, a key isn't going to do us much good, so the only way to escape here is to break the lock. Your veins stand out, so you break the lock into pieces. So, good. Right, we're now in a large room with a warning sign saying Morks. And there's a deck of cards here which we'll waste no time in getting. And if you're wondering what the significance of Morks is, if you were to key in Morks or say Morks, then a loud voice shouts out the word naughty, and you're instantly transported to a later portion of the game. And I'm guessing that the reason for including this feature in the game is in case you get stuck early on and you'd like to see what there is later in the game. Oh, and typing in Morks makes you incur some penalty points as well. So let's go back to where we started in the junk room, and we find that a sandwich has just materialised out of nothingness. Now, the reason that happened is because the sandwich was actually in the rucksack all along, but the rucksack has a hole in it, and it just fell out. the rucksack can hold up to 3 items in it at one time, but each time you move from one location to another, an item falls out into the room you just left. So let's take this sandwich, but don't eat the sandwich because it kills you. So let's just go north for now, and northwest. Okay, we're now in a small fancy looking room, and there's a sword in the stone here with the word reject stamped on it. And we can't get this sword because we're too weak at the moment. In order to get this sword, we need to first eat the sandwich to become strong enough to take it. But eating the sandwich gives you a stomach ache, which eventually leads to death. So the way to get around this is to first open the sandwich. There we go. Now, if we open the sandwich again, we find a hidden message from a captive food taster for BR. BR stands for Beelzebub's Restaurant, we find later on, asking you to help him by saying the password near the restaurant. Okay, did we get any points for that? Okay, we didn't get any points for that. We can now eat the sandwich. You feel a new surge of strength and get the sword, and the sword breaks in two. And if we look, then we find that the broken blade has fallen onto the floor, so let's take the blade with us as well. Okay, onwards and upwards, I guess. Let's go northeast. Okay, we're now in a grey stone room full of exotic fungi. That's just like Repton. An exit leads west, and a rapidly growing monster is in the room with us. Now, if we leave the room by going west, then we're safe, and the monster just expires through lack of food, but then we end up being permanently trapped in this cave. What we need to do is we need to remain in this room for long enough for the monster to grow, so that its bodily fluids will melt a hole in the ground for us to escape through. So we need some way of staying here in this room for 2 more moves without dying. And we can do that by jumping twice. Okay, if we now go west, the monster dies, and we return to find a dead monster, a hole in the floor, and some mushrooms. But if you get the mushrooms, I don't think that's going to work, because we already have 8 items in our inventory. So let's drop an item. It's okay though, because the item comes with us. It falls through the hole in the ground, which we're about to go through. So now we can take the mushrooms and go down the hole. An ent passes by us. If we weren't carrying the sapling at that point, then the ent would have killed us. Okay, let's... if we look, we find that we're back where we started. Let's drop a few more items here. Let's drop the sword's hilt, and the sapling, and the flask and the key. Okay, now let's explore west. There's a metal rod with a rusty star on the end here. We'll leave that for now. And we're approaching a gigantic spider's web. So let's go towards the web. Okay, over here there is half a ticket inscribed with the word fairy, so let's take that with us. And let's carry on. This web that we're on, it's, as you might expect, a multi-layered hexagonal structure which we're currently traversing along anti-clockwise. Okay, let's now head outwards a couple of layers. There. Now we find ourselves on a ledge by a cliff. There's a tunnel leading into the cliff, but it's blocked by a curtain of fire. But it's okay, because if we just march through the fire, we find it was merely an illusion. And we find ourselves in a small cave, and there's some form of malicious entity here because we hear a curse and various tinkering noises. Okay, now in this cave there is a mirror and a harp. Let's take the harp, but we'll leave the mirror here for now, and we'll also drop the mushrooms. Okay. Now, the description of this room is important. It says we're in a short cave where nothing seems to have changed for ages. That's really important. What that means is that we can leave items here safe in the knowledge that they'll still be here even after we return after a very long time. This is the only place in the game where we can do such a thing. Let's now leave this cave for now. And let's head towards the very centre of the web. And there is a bottle of red elixir here, which we'll take with us. Don't drink it though, it kills you. And we're now in the centre of the web. And we're now in grave danger, because a horde of tiny spiders is now waiting to kill us. And will do so if you move in any direction other than west at this point. The only way to return, the only safe way to return back to the beginning of the game is to head west and then go clockwise around the web until you get to nearly where you started out going clockwise, and then to go out one level and then go clockwise again, and to repeat that pattern until you get back to where you started, like so. So west, north, east, east, south, east, southwest, west, southwest. You get the idea. There we go. Okay, now there's a metal rod with a rusty star on the end, so let's take that now. I used to think that this was some sort of fairy's wand, and I tried waving it, and doing so kills you, because it isn't a wand, it is a weapon. It's a morning star, and when you wave it, the star snaps out of it and you end up braining yourself with it, so don't wave it. Let's now go back to where we started out. Okie doke. So they're all items, but let's drop the ticket and the bottle. Okay, and we'll get the key, the sapling, and the flask. Okay, now let's go north. Okay, we're on a path worn into the ground with sheer banks on either side, and there's a knight standing waiting to contest the way. Now, it says there are banks on either side, and now this game is full of puns. It means banks in a literal sense. We can deposit items here. So let's do so. It's useful to do this because it allows you to transfer items from one area of the game to another. So we'll deposit the key, and the cards, and the rock, and the sack, and the flask. Okay, now, this knight is not a nice man. If you try and go past him, he just gets in the way. If you try going back the way you came, he gets in your way. You can't go anywhere with this knight here. But you shouldn't fight him. You just need to give him the rod. And now he'll let us pass. Okay. This area. Okay, we're in a plantation full of strange trees, strange things, and there's a golden dragon here just breathing fire. And you can't go northwest right now, because if you do go northwest, the dragon just kills you. And it took me ages trying to work out how to get past this dragon. And the answer is, you can't, so don't even try. But what we can do here is we can dig a hole, and we can plant our sapling. At which point a hairy person arrives, says, "Well done, this is the only place that'll grow," and he gives you a medal. So let's take that. I think we've earned that, and let's now just leave. Don't go northwest because you'll die because of the dragon. Don't go south because that'll put you back where the knight was, and he'll continue to bar your way again. So let's go southwest, and that puts us in the forest. And now we just need to key in random directions until we get back to where we started.